All right. You're welcome to Street and Cathedral. My name is Dimeji Sodeke, and today's topic is a very exciting one, interesting one. The topic says the future of theater and literature. The future of theater and literature. I've got two amazing guests. These two individuals, to be honest, I do not have that capacity to say that I am bold enough to say I can call them. I consider myself blessed and privileged in life to be able to be connected to these people, not to even talk about them, gracing my event and saying, it's Dimeji Sodeke, I will just let me support him. I don't have that capacity. So it would be an insult for me to say in any way I called them. No, they graced my program with their presence. So we have two guests, amazing guests, whom I respect so much. They are elder statesmen. They tick all the boxes from experience to age to knowledge to wisdom. And these are people that I also learned from. I've had the encounter to be with them. I remember that Dr. Chris Omotosho, and to his blessed memory, that's late engineer Paul Oni. He was the chairman of Association of Nigerian Authors before I left the shores of Nigeria. And at the inception of when Dr. Chris was also made president, I witnessed him as a writer, as a member of the association. So I know him, I know his candor, his composure. And for such a prestigious association to deem it fit at some point in time to say that this man should also be our president, so he should also speak volume of the kind of caliber of person we have in this program. I will not go into details this program is not going to take all the accolades, the profiling of Dr. Chris Omotosho, the citation, because we are going to need a different program for that entirely. But because I have to do it in a minimal way, Dr. Chris is a very simple man. Now, as much as he's being simple, I would also love to use this program to say congratulations, sir, because he's now as much as he doesn't want me to say it, but I have to congratulate him on my program. That is now officially the dean of the faculty, if I'm right. Yeah, okay. Is now officially School of Faculty, School of Arts is the dean. Is the dean of the School of Arts. Congratulations on that new feat. That is a very laudable one. And to be honest, to have you currently on my program right now is more like I've gotten a celebrity, on my program that I need to keep this session, dearly. Dr. Chris is the president of the Southwest Authors Forum of Nigeria. And this is just one of his many, many accolades. He's a teacher of theater arts. I have seen Dr. Chris students. Look, when you come to campus, there are some set of students that they say by their fruit we shall know them. These are Dr. Chris's students, because when you've seen their induction, from the leave, from the dressing, from the rehearsal, from the energy, from the dance, from the beating of the drums, no, this is one of the departments that you cannot ignore. I remember while on campus, I've paid tickets to come and watch amazing stage dramas at the theater department. So Dr. Chris I'm making this known because I want you to understand that he is an authority to speak on the field of theater art. So he is knowledgeable, he's grounded, he has tutored in this aspect for years, and he's still tutoring. So when we speak about theater art, he's the right and perfect voice to speak on this theater arts and literature as a whole. So permit me to say, Dr. Chris, you are officially welcome to Street and Cathedral.
Thank you very much, Dimeji. Thanks for the accurate, thanks for the encomium, thanks for the praises. Thank you very much. I will simply say, as Paul will say, I'm what I am by the grace of God. It's a great honor for me to be here with you. Thank you very much for the honor. Thank you.
I would also take that as a lesson of humility from you, sir. To be honest, Now let's delve into, before we delve into the topic, sir, I just want to introduce you to my space and why it is called Street and Cathedral. Upon my meditation, I realized that what we see obtainable in this society right now calls for conversations, and street itself stands for the voice of the common people. I do not know where some people get their definition of um, oh, someone said that he has been always hearing you on Rock City, and finally he's happy to meet you here. You see, on the chat session, say I've been hearing him on Rock City, so finally to meet you here. So I can tell you, Dr.
Okay.
Chris is a laudable person. Is
Thank you very much.
okay. This Mr. Fatai Adiyeloja. Just let me pick it, sir. Hello, sir.
Still loading.
Mo ti send link kìíní sí ti mo send link kìíní. Excuse me for that. I was just reaching out to my second guest. Our second guest, he's been trying to join, and I think he's been finding it a bit difficult. So, street stands for the voice of the common people. So, what we see these days, without no apology, I see our generation have made some people famous that I feel that if we are not careful, we've already made stupid people famous, and these people are influencers now. We call them influencers, and these people are now being sold to us as people we should follow. And I believe it's not all celebrities that are worth following. There are some people that obviously they don't look like me. They can't convince me on anything. Someone like Portable or DJ Chicken, they can't convince me on anything. We don't, no matter how famous you think you are, you don't have that niche to convince me on anything. Even the so-called popular ones that are rich, they will still have to put them under review and all. This is not to bash any name, it's just to let us understand that it is time for intellectuals also to start hearing their opinion and voice. And over the time, I've seen that these people, the intelligent people I've met so far, there are people that to some certain extent they've come into this aspect of I just want to leave alone. I don't want attention and all. And this is why we've been giving room for certain people to actually place some gimmicks in the society and be considered to be people that we should follow. So streets stand for this voice of the common people. So particularly me, I'm interested not just in any people, but intelligent people that God has actually made me our path cross in life. So to also project this their voice in their platform and let us learn from them. Cathedral, on the other hand, is the spiritual alignment we have. On this platform, I have had a Muslim person, I've had a traditional worshiper, but I believe that as intellectuals, we should have been able to soar above religious sentiments, to have conversations that actually can lead our nation forward. You're welcome. You're welcome, sir. You can unmute yourself, sir, and start video so that we can see you. You're welcome, Mr. Fatai Adiyeloja. This is one of my very, very big mentor, and I'm blessed that I'm connected with him. You can unmute yourself, sir. You are still on mute, and your video icon, you can take it off so that we will be able to see you, sir.
Okay.
You're finally welcome on board, sir.
Thank you.
If you now you just unmuted yourself. If you can, yeah, we can see you now. I'm so sorry for the hiccups. I wish I had the power to not let us pass through all those stress. But
no worry.
Thank you very
much.
Thank you very much for your. Thank you very much for your patience, sir.
Dr. Chris, I can see you.
Good evening, sir.
How are you, sir?
I'm okay. Are you? Nice to see you again.
Oh, pretty good too. So nice
Yeah,
to see
so
you
close.
too.
So, so I was just
Not far.
so I was just giving Dr. Chris introduction, and I've also talked about his influence as an authority to speak on theater. So this is Mr. Fatai Adiyeloja. To be honest, like I said, I consider myself blessed to be connected with you. I cannot categorically say that I called them to my show. No, they graced my events. These people are big, and in every right, they are my elders, they are my fathers, they are, there are people who just saw something in me and say, Dimeji Sodeke, if it is Dimeji Sodeke, well, I will support him. And I take that as a big honor and privilege, not my right. I'm not entitled. And Mr. Fatai Adiyeloja is someone who, to be honest, if I'm counting my blessings in life, I have to count him. Because of this man, single-handedly, I was able to be connected to Professor Wole Soyinka, but not just the excitement of meeting Professor Wole Soyinka. Meeting him alone, I understood simplicity. I understood that life cannot be taken too hard. I understood the fact that no matter what you have achieved in this life, you still have to keep on putting people's interest and trying to help people. I see someone who, by no means, no right, he doesn't know me from Adam. By the Nigerian standard of let us see what we will do, that is the common way of we getting used to disappointment. But Mr. Patai's let me see what I can do is not the usual one. I was even surprised that it's not the usual let me see what I can do. It is, he went extra miles, and ever since then I've glued to him, because when we see people like this in the society, I do not want to lose them. Most especially me, I want to be connected with them forever. And you can imagine, even Mr. Fatai is not tired of he's not even tired of saying, Dimeji, your own is too much. Mr. Fatai still connected me with TK, that's Satunde Kelani, and we are still talking, we still have conversations almost every day. So this is the kind of person he is, and he's an intellectual. He's a retired Assistant Director, News and Current Affairs of the Nigerian Television Authority. He's a veteran broadcast journalist. He's a thespian and protege of the Pathfinder, African First Nobel Laureate, Professor Wole Soyinka. I want to say thank you and welcome to Street and Cathedral.
Let's give all that to God. And like I keep telling people, no matter how accomplished you think you are, if you have not reciprocated the kind gesture that you receive from others, if you have not replicated yourself in upcoming generations, you are a waste.
I believe that, because you've actually proven that to be true to me, honestly.
That's the way it should be.
I don't keep, I can't stop singing your praises. And Dr. Chris and you have things in similar. Your simplicity, your accessibility, and the fact that these are people that they're intelligent. I was not surprised when I saw that in TK. I was not surprised, because I was already used to it from you. I was used to, even when I met Professor Wole Soyinka from afar, I've had a different mental. Coming close to him, I saw there could not be anybody much more simpler than this man,
So down to earth.
So I had to reshape my thinking, reshape my personality. I had to, learning from you is it's just it's a top notch. I can say I saw that from even on Kurokpo, Ewela, and everything. So I just want to say thank you for your nature. Thank you, Dr. Chris. Thank you for who you are. Thank you for your accessibility. People like me, I would never take it for granted, even till I die. I feel blessed and honored to be connected to you.
Yeah. You're most welcome. You're most welcome.
Yeah. So today's topic is the future of theater and literature. And I'm going to be throwing the question open. My first question will go to Dr. Chris. So, Dr. Chris, I realized that a lot of people they've paid their dues in this thing called theatrics in Nigeria. I read about Hubert Ogunde, how he started from church. I once went to his museum in Ososa, where Hubert Ogunde had, fantastic history. To my surprise, I first felt back that we didn't study Hubert Ogunde in secondary school. It had to take me. It was I accidentally stumbled upon him. Before I now went back to my research, who is this man? I was surprised to even see a drum, ancestral drum, made with human skin in Ososa, in his gallery and all. So I started reading about theatres. I met with Ladi Duropo. I read about all these guys, and I'm like, are we supposed to get to university before we know all these, the role they've played? We should have the only person we see in our face from secondary school, in my own generation, sir. Let me be precise. My generation is Wole Soyinka and Chino Achebe. But on getting to the world, I've seen that Ubatogunde, Ladi Duropo, all these guys, they've played important roles in Nigerian theater. And these guys have paid their dues heavily to what it has evolved into. So I want to ask you a question, taking it from that historical art system. What do you think really happened? What are those pivotal things that happened? Was it that it is a neglect on our government, or it was something that it was not considered as an academic kind of worthy thing to study?
Yes, thank you very much. I think that society evolve all the time. Now you talk about your own generation. My own generation in the 70s, when I grew up, the likes of Fumilayo Ransko, Fumilayo, I think Roscoe, I mean
Rasco.
Ake Ogbubi, with their Bale Kaja, right? Evening to give us live theater, live drama. They come and we follow their truck to the venue of the performance. But how people develop the in theater? I mean, you have to know the look the of Dimo Aliu, right, on our street. They will come and with their body what we call Alan and Joe theater. But that evolve. Things cannot remain the same as they were. But people like us who study theater, we read about them in the university. All of them in the university. And so I think it's because of that transfer, because of the involvement, because things cannot remain stagnant. And don't forget the audience. Then our society was free. Then they could have from like the evening to about 10 p.m. No harassment, security problem. Right. Live theater again. And some of these things are trained into the curriculum, trained to happen in the only in the protecting or quite setting because of so many factors. As I said before, the security issue and the society is involving.
Your sound, sir. Your sound. I think the earpiece or something is really distorting. Yeah, we can hear you, but something is actually distorting your voice. Maybe it's the earpiece.
How about now?
Yeah, it's okay now.
It's okay now.
Yeah, perfect.
It's okay now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. And because of the advancement of technology, and so now, if you ask me, you can mind people don't go to live theater again. People don't go to live shows again. They stay within the comfort of their rooms. I mean, with YouTube, Netflix, everything, with their phone, they watch thousands and thousands, of videos.
But sir,
right?
Sir, I want to interject along with your thoughts.
Okay.
There's a man called Tyler Perry in America. Tyler Perry, we cannot say we are more developed than America, but Tyler Perry is also making use of this stage drama, and people are still turning out to come and watch all this stage drama, traditional stage drama. Is it that people gave up on the stage theatrics here? Because I know Uncle Rockbo and you've been working on stage drama. Is it that people gave up on producing stage plays, or actually the patronage became nothing to write a home about?
Very much. Thank God, Egben is here tonight. He will let you know that the best actors are trained on the stage. And so some of us are still clamoring for a return back to the stage. Stage is still the best, right? But there are so many factors. Stage is more expensive, right? To keep theater company in Nigeria is more expensive than you just having what do you call it, movie and all of that. Because for you to rehearse a production, you spend like weeks, average of 4, 7, or 5 weeks, right? That you keep the company on every day, right? And that is cost effective. That is something. Now, and again, too, because actors of business, we are not patient again. Now, because again, the patronage, as I said earlier, I talked about the issue of security. Anytime from 6 or 7, everybody wants to be at home. The fear of being kidnapped, the fear of your phone being stolen, the fear of so many things on the road, the fear of, so everybody wants to be indoor, right? Because stage shows is better experienced and enjoyed in the evening because of the light. Light speaks to the audience. Light communicates. Now, so the best show on stage will like maybe from like 7 p.m. An average actor, average stage performance will take like 1.5 hours or 2 hours. So say like 7 to 9 p.m. And I bet you'll be afraid of working in the night because of what I said, security issue.
Okay,
and again,
sir.
The data company itself,
Sir,
to keep. Yes.
I know. I'm sorry to interject. I want Mr. Fatai to come now. You can unmute yourself, Mr. Fatai, because I will take that as your opening speech, sir, Dr. Chris. Mr. Fatai, I want you to also buttress on what he said and adding to this fact that there is something going on right now. I've taken Dr. Chris on theater. I want to take you on literature. There is something going on right now, which is I call it the negative portrayal of Orunmila. We see that our theatrics has actually done, we do say theatrics have actually done more to the portrayal of our history, our culture, in the light that when we want to even talk about or portray warriors of our past, instead of them to get into the act of, fighting like what we see in Hamlet and all, what we see is exchange of words, awful and all, which it is not, does not correlate with real life fighting. It's more like talking, and then koko woro and all. So people have actually subjected the fact that this theatrics is actually absurd, does not align to reality. So could it be one of the factors that literature also align with absurdity, that people actually now start declining towards it, saying, we cannot pitch tent with this too much. Let us also go into aspect of, so you can unmute yourself, sir, and if you understand my question. You're on mute, sir. You can unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, sir. You're on mute. Please unmute yourself, sir. There is a red icon there. You just have to just click on it. That's unmute. Yeah. No, we can't hear you, sir. Unmute yourself. Like you are still on mute. Unmute yourself. You see, until that red icon that seems like something crosses it, until that cross leaves it, that means you can now speak. You're on mute right now.
Oh, great.
Yes.
You can hear me now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, let's also, there's no way we talk about what is happening now without talking about what preceded this era, which is what Dr. Chris has, brilliantly captured. Now, we must also note that culture differs. If Oyibos are talking of wrestling, we're talking of Ijakati. And we do more of using charms to fight in those days, even up to now. That's why some people seem to be asking, what has happened to Egbe of those era, whereby you command the charm to take you away from that dangerous point and to take you maybe home, but in some cases, you are taken to where you are not intended. Well, with incantation, you do more of the fighting. You can cause someone to, fall to sleep. Remember the fight between Banka. I'm talking about Shango, the myth of Shango. Asofafantifon. And before you know it, the guy fell into sleep. It's only if he could also counter what his opponent used upon him that he will be able to wake up And I think it was at the point he fell asleep that it was conquered eventually. So it is our culture, it's our history. It is not out of place. But if we're not asking that there should be more of action rather than, the use of words, that's a different ballgame. I think it's
Sir, reason why I ask this question is that you see these new guys now in Lishabi, in this film Jagun Jagun, in this latest film, you can see that they were merging the two together. They were riding on horses, they were pulling out swords, fighting, and at the same time still making use of Watani. But what we have during those days, during the early theatrics, when the Abijas and these guys are, what we see is more of incantation. And the only thing is that
maybe rules of this.
Yeah, so I'm only pushing the sentiment, the argument going on that. So the patronage these days now is that hey, finally these guys are now putting more action, and we are now seeing more blood spill, because to us, or let me say to people now, before the argument was that how can you afeja you are on sọ̀rọ̀ wájú mi máa ti kọ́kọ́ fi ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ fi parí gbogbo nǹkan tó ń kó tẹ tó pé ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn kalẹ̀. So these are the arguments people are saying, that is it that the theater was tilting towards absurdity before, that was why people patronized it less?
No. It was not in any way taken towards absurdity. It was, what obtained in the past. And of course, that is not to say that they do not go physical. Thank God we are redressing that anomaly now. We're beginning to wake up, but it's not totally out of place.
Okay, sir. So I want you to buttress on this. Why Dr. Chris also take it on. We said that the use of theater and literature to portray our culture, there have been also arguments and heritage, most especially in the case of Ifa. Okay, now we see let me use the Babalawo case to portray now. For people who actually love the culture, the marital aspect we patronize, we evolved it, other aspect of the culture, it is that religion, that Orumila, that seems to be like people are now putting out argument now. The last time I had the talk with Elder Tunde Kelani, people are now coming out and saying, no, Orumila is not the way it has been portrayed. Professor Sophie also came out and said, this is what Orumila stands for. But what we see in the movie, it has actually been a worst case scenario. Like, if things are going to go worse, if someone is going to do a bad charm, or you know what I'm saying, all these things have been interplaying in the theatrics that has actually demonized, or let me use the word demonize, the negativity aspect of that traditional worshiping. So how will we say that now as in form of theatrics? That could we say that also in performance, at some point in time, the general patronage of performance could be wrong at some point in time compared to now?
Not really wrong. You must also note that most of the time, some of our stories are not, being told by us. Even those you claim are, the real people, they have been so westernized. They have been so disoriented. Disorientation, then this religious bigotry has also eaten deep to the entire fabric of a number of our people, so that we really need to rearrest their brain, so that we think African. We are so Eurocentric now, so that most of the things that are associated with us are regarded as evil. That perhaps is responsible for the portrayal of Orunmila and a number of our deities. For instance, yes.
Yeah, no, but now, Dr. Chris, you can take this up now. I understand what you're saying, Mr. Fatai. I want Dr. Chris to react. So, is at the art of the theatrics himself. Are you not saying this at the point that in the portrayal of Orunmila now, Orunmila, according to Professor Sophie, says is the collection of the knowledge body of the Yoruba people or Yoruba culture as a whole. But what we have seen in theatrics over time, I'm hammering on this, because if we don't pick out one problem, we won't actually have an oversight of this whole conversation linking theater and literature together. We know if we are going to link Taloko Ereke Budoi, Ogbojo Deninu Igborumole, we can Amos Tutola, right?
No, Diofagua.
Diofagua. Now let's subscribe that to the likes of Harry Potter. That's magical realism, accepted. But now in reality, we are the one holding the pen, telling our stories now, and we are still aligning with the thought that we are demonizing some certain practices. It is of recent we now start seeing them some people coming out and saying, no, if I Shenko Buruko, this is not evil, this is not actually the worship of demon, trying to now, and we would say that to some certain extent it has gone worse in the way it has damaged people, our own people's patronage towards that angle. So what can you say about theatrics in the portrayal of our culture and heritage in the proper sense?
Yeah, thank you very much. This is a brilliant question. You know, let me say this. One of the attributes of a playwright or a scriptwriter is to be a good researcher. Most of our scripts, most of our plays today lack that research. I tell you, I mean, from what we've heard, what we studied in our culture, Babalawo is not meant to do evil. Ifa worshipper adherent is not meant to do evil, right? And so now seeing them in our movies these days, performing money ritual, killing people in a movie, is a bad portrayal of our image, of our culture. And it's because those people, they did not do the thorough research. I don't want to mention names so that I won't destroy anybody's work, but I must tell you, some of these films that you mentioned some minutes ago, some of them, some people have said that some of them lack thorough research. I'm telling you, people are already questioning them because there are some elements of lack of that in-depth in some of them. Are you with me? And so that aspect is not there. Our young guys should not be too much in a hurry. They ought to go to the deep and get it and do thorough research so as to portray our culture the way it should be. African culture, Yoruba culture that we are born into, an average, let me say it again, Babalawo, Ifa adherent will not do money ritual. It will not need that we kill another person. No. Ifa adherents are real Ifa worshippers who do the right thing, who correct people and direct them, rightly. But now these days, some of us know. That is why what we said earlier about this show, popularity of celebrity. Some of us don't go into this because these guys don't come for research and they don't go to the right channel to go to. And so because the money is there, they just roll out everything. And again, we have audience who take anything, audience who just understand the culture and they take it hook and sinker.
Okay, sir.
So,
okay, sir.
So they need to be corrected.
Dr. Chris, thank you.
Yes.
Mr. Fatai, this is for you, sir. I want you to also come in and let us know, because we are seeing now that social issues have been swept under the corridor. During the early days of literature and theater, Chinua Achebe, Professor Wole Soyinka, Ubato, these people are actually putting social issues at first. They're like, no, this craft must treat all these social issues. Yoruba Ronu, a man died. Everything was coming, attacking trying to use this literature, trying to use the theatrics for social issues. This is not what is obtainable today. What has actually come?
The fact remains that some see literature as just an art for itself. And that is a very wrong perception of either the literature or the theater. If it is not catering to the needs of the people, the yearnings and aspirations of the people, if it's not correcting the social ills, it has no basis, no reason whatsoever for existence. And of course, like you rightly said, in the days of the likes of Hubert Ogunde, you have people who had gut